24/7, I'm Aaron Dean. Former President Trump is maintaining his innocence after appearing in a Miami courtroom this week, where he pled not guilty to 37 federal charges involving the alleged mishandling of highly classified documents. Trump is now the first former U.S. president to face federal charges. Chris Wynn is in Miami with a closer look at what played out in the courtroom and what's ahead.
Donald Trump did not speak during the historic hearing, sitting with his arms crossed and with a scowl on his face. But outside the courthouse, a lot of people came out to show their support for the former president as he faces yet another legal battle.
But they will fail and we will win bigger and better.
A historic court appearance. For the first time ever, a former U.S. president facing federal charges.
Food for everyone. Food for everyone.
Donald Trump appearing at a popular Cuban restaurant just minutes after his arraignment in Miami inside a federal courtroom Tuesday, where he pleaded not guilty to the 37 federal counts against him, including allegedly mishandling highly sensitive classified documents and conspiracy to obstruct justice.
They've only charged him with 31 out of the hundreds of documents that they've seized.
During the proceedings, witnesses say that Trump appeared somber, even scowling during his arraignment. His aide and co-defendant Walt Nauta appeared with him in court, but didn't enter a plea because he didn't have a local attorney. Nauta is facing 6 charges, including conspiracy to obstruct and concealment for allegedly moving document boxes at Mar-a-Lago at Trump's request.
If they're anything like some of the things we presented to Trump in the Oval Office and the Situation Room and the tank at the Pentagon, it could cause enormous damage, incalculable damage to the United States.
Prosecutors told the judge they don't consider Trump a flight risk and he's free to leave Florida with no restrictions, allowing the former president to travel to New Jersey for a campaign fundraiser Tuesday night, as the case polarizes his own party.
We cannot take this lightly.
It's obvious what the president did was wrong. I just don't see it as a sham indictment.
It's very problematic. There's a reason I'm not defending it. I would like to find out all the truth of it. Obviously, if that's the truth, I'd be very concerned.
The former president is vowing to stay in the 2024 presidential race despite the charges. Reporting here in Miami, I'm Chris Wynn. Back to you.
Cornell West is now running in the Green Party presidential primary. West posted the announcement on Twitter this week. The former Harvard professor and activist entered the 2024 presidential race under the banner of the People's Party. If West wins the more established Green Party nomination, he is likely to have a much broader ballot access in the general election that could potentially take more votes away from President Joe Biden. West was a supporter of Senator Bernie Sanders when he ran for president in 2016 and 2020. Sanders endorsed President Biden ahead of the 2020 general election and says that he plans to do it again for 2024. 5 senators are reintroducing a bill to block companies like TikTok from sending Americans' personal data to what's called unfriendly countries. It would subject such exports to licensing requirements similar to those for military and advanced technologies. Under it, the Commerce Department would maintain a list of nations deemed untrustworthy. Oregon Democratic Senator Ron Wyden and Wyoming Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis are leading this effort. The bill doesn't name TikTok, but the video platform is under scrutiny for its ties to China. Bud Light is no longer the top-selling beer in the U.S. Modelo Especial took over the spot in May. According to an analysis of Nielsen data, Modelo represented more than 8% of retail store beer sales in the 4 weeks ending June 3rd, while Bud Light was just above 7% during the same time period. The drop in sales seems to coincide with Bud Light teaming up with a transgender influencer. Corporate leaders say that a single can with the influencer's face was given to her and was not for sale to the general public and was not part of a broader campaign. However, misinformation surrounding the sponsored post caused some people to swear off the brand. Well, the White House is speaking out after last week's Pride event brought about some inappropriate behavior. The video from Saturday's event shows that some attendees removing their tops in front of the South Portico while dancing. Officials say that people seen engaging in such actions won't be invited back to the White House.
that type of behavior is, as I said, unacceptable. It's not appropriate. It's disrespectful. And let's not, it really does not reflect the event that we hosted to celebrate the LGBTQ plus families. Again, hundreds of families who were here to celebrate their community and who were here in attendance. So look, individuals in the video certainly will not be invited to future events.
The event was billed as the largest Pride event in the White House's history. It featured speeches from the President and First Lady, along with performances from the singer Betty Who. The Orange County, Florida Medical Examiner's Office released the autopsy report for three-time Olympic medalist Tori Bowie. Now, she died in May from complications of childbirth. According to the report, Bowie was about 8 months pregnant and had been undergoing labor. The 32-year-old appeared to have respiratory distress and seizures.
Being the wealthiest country in the world, we really need to reassess our priorities and prioritize maternal health. You know, women these days are having babies at an older age. We're using IVF more. African American women in particular have higher rates of maternal mortality. And all of these things combined are leading to our rates of maternal mortality being 3 to 4 times of their white counterparts. So despite the technology, education, access, addressing racism in medicine and society, which does impact our healthcare and the delivery specifically to Black women, is something that we need to prioritize.
Bowie won 3 medals at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio: gold in the 4x100-meter relay, silver in the 100 meters, and bronze in the 200 meters. Heart disease and cancer. In the U.S., men are more likely than women to suffer from these diseases and others, but many of these illnesses can be prevented. Mandy Gaither has more on how to keep men healthy in honor of Men's Health Month.
In the U.S., men are expected to live nearly 6 fewer years than women. Health experts say there may be many reasons why.
Some of this might be due to exposures at work or increased smoking, for example. But in truth, we're still trying to figure that out.
Urologist Scott Lundy with Cleveland Clinic says there's no one way to prevent health conditions like cancer or heart disease, but healthy habits can lower the risk.
Things like avoiding cigarettes and vaping, maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding excessive alcohol, eating healthy, unprocessed foods, and exercising regularly.
Getting preventive screenings is critical. One Cleveland Clinic survey found 63% of men of color reported not getting regular health screenings. Lundy says it may be due to limited access to care or medical mistrust.
When it comes to diseases like prostate cancer, for example, Black men have more aggressive disease, a longer delay between diagnosis and treatment, and ultimately higher mortality.
Lundy says many men develop erectile dysfunction over their lifetime. He says this could be an indicator of something more serious, which is why it's important to talk to your doctor, even about sensitive subjects.
I can assure you've heard it before, and we simply want to help.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Grocery prices in the U.S. ticked up in May after dipping the previous 2 months. Overall, grocery prices were nearly 6% more expensive in May than they were 2 years ago. Menu prices have been more than 8% over the past year. Together, food prices jumped 6.7% throughout the year, once again outpacing overall annual inflation, which came in at 4%. Certain food items got quite a bit more expensive over the course of the year. Margarine and flour spiked the most. Juice and other non-alcoholic drinks popped nearly 10%, and ice cream went up by 8%. And thank you so much for joining us for AC 24/7. For more, go to theadvocatechannel.com and subscribe on our Advocate Channel YouTube page. For AC 24/7, I'm Aaron Dean.